Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you're new to me, new to my show, new to my channel on YouTube, please do subscribe. Please do subscribe to take advantage of all the current shows, all the previous shows, all the shows coming up. It is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring to you these amazing, wonderful speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their experiences, their processes, their healings, their meditations, their mini readings, etc., so that we can all thrive, so that we can all awaken to happiness now. And so today, my dear friend Roshney Mistry is back with us, and we're going to be talking about waiting to be me. And so some of what we're going to talk about is happy hormones, using food as a way to control feelings. So what are you focusing on? Where attention goes, energy flows. Are you living your mission to the best you can? Your relationship with food, does it stem from your childhood? Being overweight may indicate a need to protect oneself or hide oneself from the world, and how self-love is key. And of course, Roshni will be facilitating a live process on the call that you don't want to miss, so please do stay for the whole call. The golden air balloon will help release emotions that are weighing down and includes EFT to help reduce cravings. So if you don't know Roshni, she's been with us a few times now. We love having her, and it's always a wonderful call. Always wonderful processes as well. So Roshni is a spiritual energy coach whose name means light. She is trained in NLP, Rahanni Celestial Healing, Inner Child Healing, Counselling, and Akashic Records Healing. She is an Akashic Records and Rahanni Celestial teacher. She worked for the corporate government for the last 34 years. Working in a stressful environment has taught her many skills, especially on how to heal relationships. She has learned, one second, through her experiences that your body will show you signs on a physical and mental level when something is not right for you. So Roshna uses powerful inner child healing and cord cutting modalities to help others to remove emotional blocks to relationships, career, and good health. And she runs online spiritual workshops, which are open to everyone and anyone, whether you are just new to spirituality or very experienced. Roshni is sharing her light with you so that you can shine your light too. So please, everyone, join me in welcoming Roshni back to the show. Roshni,
Oh,
welcome.
thank you. Thank you so much, Shefali. I love your welcoming all the time. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely. We're excited about this conversation because even though it says waiting to be me, it has nothing to do with time. It has to do with weight. So WEIGHT. For those of you who are not looking at the page, but just listening to us, it's about that. So, I have to say, Roshni, in the past 5 years, I definitely gained a lot of weight. And I know part of that was due to stress. Yeah. So I know we're going to talk about that too, but yeah, it has stayed on, and despite my best efforts, it is not coming off. So I know we're talking about weight today. So where do you want to get started with that?
Okay, so first of all, a little disclaimer. I'm not a doctor, so I don't claim to heal or cure or anything like that. What I say, I'm telling you through my experience and through my clients' experience as well. And where it started for me is that most of my life, I've been with my weight up and down. And what I did is I kind of like wrote a timeline of all my age from like 0 till 53. And I wrote the times when I had gained weight. And then I put down what was actually happening in my life, and then I realized, oh, there was a bit of guilt there. There was a bit of rejection, or I broke up with this ex-boyfriend, or I had a stressful period at work, and I could see the pattern. And I thought, oh, okay, so that's an interesting way or tool for you to look back in your timeline in your life to see what was it that was making me eat and not eat or feel stressed out with my weight. So not just that, there was other things. So this beautiful diet industry. Now I've done the works. I've done Weight Watchers. I did keto. I did low carbs. I did calorie counting, slimming world, and they all worked. They all worked. However, not for long. Yeah. So it was keeping it off was the issue. So 1 or 2 years, yeah, I'm very happy. Size 10, size 12, whatever you call it in USA and Canada. But then it would come back on again. So, that taught me that you can't always rely on what the diet industry is telling you. And the diet industry, I hate to say this, they did serve me for a purpose. They did help me. But my brain got so confused, I started having all these beliefs that I can't eat carbs. Oh no, I can't eat chocolate. Oh, I can't have that because that's bad for me. So whatever diet I tried, it doesn't matter if I walked 10,000 steps, if I had less calories, more calories, even if I had a personal trainer and a nutritionist and a dietitian, the weight would come back on because my brain and my belief system was completely like spaghetti junction. So that's when I learned about emotional freedom tapping, and that really helped me, which we're going to do that process a bit later on. Because what emotional freedom tapping does, it goes into those subconscious feelings and beliefs and patterns that we've stored in our head, and we're tapping into the meridians and we're letting them go. So that's a really powerful tool we're going to do a bit later on. So another thing that I want to mention about, you talked about stress. We know, everyone knows that many people turn to food when they're stressed. Okay, stress is one of the biggest reasons why we eat emotionally. I mean, I am a living example of that. So whenever I used to get stressed, this is a really good example. So say you go into a 9 to 5 office job and it's very stressful, because I used to work for the government, the unemployment center, which is the job center, and all day used to be quite, I used to stay quiet and take in all the stress, and all this jaw used to be really tight because I never used to say anything. I never used to speak up. So when I went home, the first thing I went for in the kitchen cupboard was crunchy crisps or like crunchy peanuts or something. And I'd go ning, 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 and it would release all this tension here and I would feel so good. And I'd be like, oh, I've had my crisps, or Americans, I think, call them chips, right? And I'd have my peanuts or whatever it is, and I'd like, oh, I feel so good. But how long did I feel good for? Not very long. Okay. So foods like that are very, like, they release these endorphins, the dopamine, and they make you feel good. But how long for? Not for long. You then crash, then you crave something else. So yeah, so that's where I want to start with.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just thinking back to my experiences of how I was eating for the past 5 years. Because before that, I was very, very thin. I mean, I did not gain any weight until 35, right? And even then, not very much, right? I was in good shape, and I don't eat very much to begin with, like I'm not a big eater to begin with. But I did find that during my stressful period, I was eating chips and I was drinking Coke because I needed something. But in the past 2 years or a year and a half or whatever since I've been back here, I guess it'll be 2 years in October. I haven't had any of that stuff. I don't eat any junk food whatsoever. I don't drink any soda whatsoever. But my weakness is my mom's cooking, and especially the sweets that she makes. And I've told her not to make them anymore, but you know, she likes
Oh,
them too.
so
So that
that's
is,
really good. That's really good you noticed that, because that's what our process does later on. It kind of identifies, where does that comfort come from? So the comfort we get, like mine is bread. Okay. So when I was young, I used to eat bread. It was toast for breakfast, sandwich for lunch, and dinner was like chapati. So that's like wheat, right?
yeah,
Carbs,
yeah.
carbs, carbs. And for me, whatever was going on in the house, that was the food I associated with comfort, with mum, with love. And it might be for you the same thing, like sweets or dessert. Okay, so the process that we do later on, just remember what I'm saying now, and then you'll really think back and you think, wow, the foods that we eat right now that we turn to is reflected back to a time, when we were younger or when something else was going on, whether it be a relationship or a stressful job or a health, whatever it was. Yeah, it's something that we turn to. So you mentioned, earlier, stress. So stress is not only just the biggest thing that impacts weight, but sleep. Sleep is so
Hmm.
important, because I noticed when I was only sleeping 3, 4 hours, and I was walking 10,000 steps and I was eating quite well, I wasn't sleeping very well. 3, 4 hours is not brilliant, and
Yeah.
some people need less sleep, but you need a good sleep. And I noticed that, if our hormones are a little bit all over the place, then we won't sleep as well. And this is where, you've got to take the action that is going to help you. And you might go on a fad diet, or you might go to a personal trainer or nutritionist. But how many people do you know that have managed to sustain it lifelong? Very rare, very rare. If you do, that's brilliant. That's good. It's worked for you. However, what I was saying earlier is that Weight Watchers keto, slimming world, it served me a purpose back in the day, but right now it doesn't do anything for my body. So number one is listen to your body. What is your body telling you? Now, Joe Dispenza, I went on his retreat last year. He said to the audience, if you want to eat a burger, go and eat that damn burger. Okay. Yeah. It's the vibrational thought you're giving food. Okay. So, like I said, because of the fad diet industry, I started to believe bread is bad. Because I was doing keto, bread is bad. Rice is bad. Chapatis are bad. Naan bread is bad. Yeah, donuts are bad. And when you start labeling food bad, what do you think effect it's going to have on your body? Because your now mind believes, if I eat this dessert, I'm going to gain weight because it's bad for me. So it's not entirely our fault. A lot of it is beliefs and patterns and, diets that we've gone through. So sometimes we put so much pressure on ourselves, but we now need to start changing the program. We now need to start changing our vibrational thought around food. And I'm not saying go out there and just eat whatever you want. Of course, we want to eat high vibrational food. We can have the treats now and then. Now, be careful of what I just said. We can have treats now and then. What is a treat to you? So if I don't know, let's say if I got a new job today and I'm celebrating, and I say to my husband, oh, let's go and eat an apple because we're celebrating. Does that sound right? No. How many people do you know say, right, let's eat a salad because we're going to celebrate? No, because what do you associate? A treat. I associate treat as a chocolate cake, or a lemon meringue pie, my favorite, or a chocolate box. Okay, so let's celebrate a wine glass. And it might be because in my family, when I was growing up, that's what we did at Christmas. We celebrated on birthdays. That's what we celebrated with. So again, we've got all these beliefs and patterns from childhood. It's pretty amazing. So we've got to be careful when we're using the word treat. So I try not to say treat. I just say, you know what, I want some cake, I'm going to have it. Okay. So another thing is the language we use. Now, in the beginning, I did say to you that I've been up and down all my life. And I kept telling people that. So every time I met a friend and they were like, oh, you've lost weight. And they're like, oh, you're looking, when some people say, oh, you're looking very healthy. And I was like, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? I've gained weight? Right. So then I say to them, oh, I'm always up and down. And because remember, the universe is listening and words are spellings. So if I'm saying to you, I'm always up and down, yes, I'm going to be always up and down with my weight. So now I'm taking my focus away of the thoughts I have around food and the language that I'm using about food, and I'm changing the beliefs in my head. And I'm happy to say I'm not on a diet. I'm not. I'm losing weight steadily, and I'm not doing it to say I'm losing weight. I'm doing it for good health and to be happy and to do things merrily, happily, healthily. Okay. When you say I want to lose weight, the universe sees the word lose as negative, and your body is like is feeling negative because like, oh, I want to lose weight. And how many of us wake up in the morning and actually look in the mirror and is like, oh, I don't like my hips today, or oh my god, my butt's sticking out. and our body's listening to us. The cells are listening. So the cells are like, oh great, so we'll get bigger now because she's dissing us. Okay. So
Wow. And I have to say, just a really quick comment on healthy. In the Indian culture, healthy means a little chubby or a little bulky, or a little bit. And so when sometimes when I see my daughter, and I don't know what it is with her, but when she comes home, she eats a lot of food. Like when she's at here at my mom's or at her other grandma's, whatever, she eats a lot of food. And so then when I see her after that, it's like, oh, you look really healthy, meaning she's you know, looking fuller. And also, if she gets in the sun, she's looking healthy, not as pale, kind of thing. So, we in our mentality, we don't have that healthy to be slim or I don't know. I can't even say it. I don't even know what those words would be, right? So so for me to be healthy is like, you know, plump a little bit, I guess. It's like it's ingrained, it's not like I think about it, right? But it's ingrained. It's like a little bit more fat that you have on you, you look, better. Because when I was growing up, I was always so skinny, like so skinny. So people said I wasn't healthy because I was so skinny. And I tried to gain weight and I couldn't until I was 35 after I had Amanda. Then I, could not. Then I was good. It was like, yeah, this is a good size. But
Yeah.
so we have to look at our interpretations too of what healthy means, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Annette's hit the nail on the head. Could we talk about the other side of the coin, being underweight and not liking to eat due to stress or many other? The weight thing, again, is the same thing. A lot of people have problems with putting on weight, or they cannot eat because of stress. And so this is where the actions come in. And I remember I bumped into a friend who went through a horrific separation, and I hadn't seen her for 10 years since school, and she'd lost so much weight. And literally, it had taken off, like Alara said, it had taken off like it actually put on so many years, although she looked amazing and slender, but on her face, I could just see like an 80-year-old instead of a 40-year-old. And the other day, the same thing happened at the gym. One of the girls said to me, I said, "Oh, you've lost weight. You look good." But then when I looked at her face, she goes, "Oh yeah, I was doing Slimming World and I've lost a stone in like 12 weeks." And I said, "Oh, that's brilliant." But when I looked at her face, she looked really tired and frail. And I was like, I like that little glow and healthy look and the little, so Annette's got a good point. Now you can do so many processes, so many actions, so many things to gain weight as well. Okay, so like I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a disclaimer, and obviously you've got to contact the right people. But there, things like yoga can help. Meditation is amazing. If you imagine, if at Joe Dispenza retreats and other people's retreats, if people can turn around things like the big C and other critical illnesses, imagine what it can do around your weight. It can make you gain weight and it can make you lose weight. Yeah, rightfully and healthfully, like Shefali said. So it's a really good, we should look at both of the spectrum. You're absolutely right, Annette. But the reason why I'm talking about weight is because many people, many people, I don't know the numbers, like if more people are overweight or underweight, but many people, like let's say you're a carer or you're a lone parent with children, and it could be just a couple parent with children, it could be just parents, it could be just relationships, go through a whole load of stress, and then we turn to food as a comfort, and then we don't know what to do. We're like, okay, I've tried everything under the books and nothing seems to work. Yeah, so I think Shefali had to go off because, oh no, you are there. Sorry, Shefali, I thought you I thought you
No,
disappeared.
I'm here.
So
It's all good.
it's all about the vibration. And I think the other thing is, what do you focus on? Like I said, if I'm focusing on losing weight, it's a negative word. So this last year, my son, 2 months ago, my son got married. Sorry, a month ago. Time's flying. And the last year, I was focusing on losing weight, the negative word losing. And guess what? Not a single pound off. But then I focused my attention on something fun. I started going to Pilates, I started to go to Zumba, and I started focusing on just preparing for the wedding, not actual losing weight. Like, oh, let's get my outfit, let's get the jewelry, let's get this. And because I'm focusing on something else, I actually started to lose weight because my energy And my focus was not on losing weight, but it's like getting ready for the wedding. Like, oh, we've got to get our outfits ready. We've got to plan the food. We've got to do this. So I think, no worries, Annette. Thank you for a really good question. So I think it's like when you start doing actions that make you feel good and fun, you start forgetting the negative quote, losing. Yeah. So it might be you suddenly start going to the gym and you really love doing it. And when you really love doing something, Daryl Anker Bashar says, when you start bringing joy into your life and start working on your purpose and your mission and start being the real you, that's why I said waiting to be me, that is when you start losing weight. Yeah, that because you're waiting to be me, which means you're waiting to be the real you. The real you is who came here to have fun, to have joy, to serve a purpose, and to enjoy life. But we know, you know, and I know, life happens and things happen, and our vibration goes up and down. Yeah. So it's our job to raise the vibration. Okay. Is he all right?
Yep, all
Right.
good.
And, so I did things like Zumba, Pilates, meditation, do things that is really, really, really going to help you. Yeah, take those actions. That's going to bring you
Yep.
joy. I know so many people go to the gym and they hate it. And I was like, well, why do you go to the gym? Oh, because I need to, oh, I can't put on weight. Oh, I need to. And another thing, if you think about this, no judgment, okay? Sometimes you get people who are super fit. They look super fit on the outside. They're having vegan meals, they're smoothies, they're eat very healthy, all organic, don't have any E's or preservatives, but they have a still major illness. Why is that? Because it's down to emotions. Okay. So you can look amazing and look super fit, but it's what's going on internally. What emotions are going on internally? And we all have to go through emotions. I don't think there's a single person on this earth who has not expressed or dealt with emotions. Then you're not human. you might,
Exactly. Yeah.
might be a
Yeah.
galactic.
This reality is based on emotions and relationships and engagement and yeah, for sure. It's all part and parcel of this experience.
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to touch on this is a very common thing, especially in energy healing work. Is that and this did happen to me. I always felt like, okay, I'm doing energy healing work, so I need this weight for protection. But again, don't make it a life sentence because I started thinking that because I heard it somewhere else or read it somewhere else. I made it my life sentence now. So now I don't think that. I'm like, no, yeah, it was there to protect me for a while, but I don't need it now. You can buy, thank you very much. And it's also like I hear a lot of people. I went to a retreat recently, and after the retreat, there was a lot of energy healing done and breath work, and we released a lot of tears and emotions. It was lovely. And they provided us with some food, some nice, healthy food. And then they brought out these really delicious chocolates, and they weren't like mega healthy. And I was like, oh, no, no, I don't want any. And they were like, no, no, you need to eat it because it's very grounding chocolate. It's good to eat. You have to eat because we've just done energy work. So we now have to fill ourselves up. And I was like, I could have started believing that, but I didn't. I was like, yeah, I'll have a little bit and I'm fine. I'm happy with the chocolate. Thank you. But I didn't take on that belief. So we've got to be careful what we are saying. Yes, it is true. We do need weight sometimes for protection, but don't make it a life sentence into your mind. A really good point, Jay. Not loving yourselves with conditions, having fun. I'll only love myself if I'm thin. That is a really, really good point. Like I said, the amount of times we wake up in the morning and self-talk. We self-talk and we're like, oh, this doesn't look good, or this outfit doesn't look good. You know, I remember I stopped buying dresses because I was like, no, 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 I don't look in dresses. And I think it was my sister told me, buy a bigger size and it'll make you feel better. And I was like, no, I'm not going to buy a bigger size. And I actually did, and it worked. But sometimes these things work, sometimes it doesn't. It's not for everyone. But just do what you love. Do what you love. If you want to wear a dress, wear a dress. Okay.
Yeah, it really is about accepting yourself, right? And once you can accept yourself as you are, like this is how my body is right now. Okay, cool. But, and then continue enjoying life, continue doing what lights you up, what brings you joy, etc. But if you have physical conditions like your hips are sore or your knees are sore, that could be because of the extra weight that you're carrying. So then you might want to just um, focus on being healthy enough so that you don't have that pain, but using better words than that, right? So just getting to that point where you're focusing on your body, working with your body, doing what your body requires to be in good shape, whatever that means to you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And something else is that something that really helped me this year is that I went to a herbalist. So I'm not saying to you that, like a Bach's remedy, this person was really good and explained to me that, okay, you can take these natural herbs that will balance your hormones. And it was amazing. It was amazing. And that's how I balanced my hormones instead of like do keto, do intermittent fasting. Sometimes you just want to eat breakfast. You want to, especially when you go on holiday, and it just goes all down the window, right? So that's why I'm saying the more you have a realistic lifestyle pattern, then you don't feel like you're on a diet. If you do make the small changes, go to an Ayurvedic person, go to a herbalist, do the meditation, do the yoga. Remember, our makeup is different. Our hormones, everyone's hormones are different. Okay, our DNA, our blood type, everything is different. The stress that we have in our life, all levels are different. And the other main thing is, we talked about self-love. I think Jay talks about self-love as well. The most important thing is give yourself time and give yourself self-care. How many times have you thought, okay, I've got a wedding coming up, I've got to lose like 3 stone in 1 month? I don't know about you, but I used to say that to myself all the time, and now I know that's not realistic. Come on, Roshney, you can't do that. It's not realistic here. Stop putting pressure on yourself. You are what you are. Love yourself, and when you start being your true self, it will come off in time. Imagine in the world if we were all slim, all tall, and we all look the same. That would be a strange world, I think.
For sure. Yes, that is not the world that we are in and that we want to be in. But again, it is about looking at, because each individual's body is unique and different, right? We all have different shapes and sizes. And um, I mean, what works for one body may not work for another body. So it is about having that communication with the body too. What does the body want, and how does the body want to feel, and how does the body how does the body want to be active, etc. as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jay's written here, honor the process. Absolutely. But it takes time and practice because, like I said, the lovely diet industry or your past experiences in dieting have absolutely brainwashed our and rewired our whole brain and belief system. So now we don't know what's right and wrong. So I'm like, do I eat the carb or do I do intermittent fasting? Do I do keto? What do I do? Or do I eat chapatis? I don't know. Do I eat olive oil? Do I eat sunflower oil? So there's, you just have to be careful. And like what I do is, if I'm really in doubt with what I'm eating, I just bless the food. Like you bless your water and just put light over your food with your hand. Yeah. And just say, and that, that's why a lot of people pray over food. When you show gratitude over food, nothing is going to happen to you, trust me. And like Joe Dispenza says, if you want to eat the burger, go and eat the burger. If you want, as you know yourself, if you're going to have a burger every day, after a while your body's going to talk to you and your body's going to be like, I don't like this burger every day, I don't like chocolate every day, don't like donuts every day. Your body will speak to you. Listen to your body. That's the most important message I can give anyone around on food and weight.
Yep, absolutely. And I think Randy put in the chat earlier too, everything in moderation, right? Everything in moderation. So, like when I was eating chips, it's not like I was eating the whole bag. It was just a really small bowl of chips, right? But so I'm not that type of that I'm going to like open up a whole bag of chips and eat the whole thing in one sitting. I'm not like that. I even a chocolate bar, I will have that in like a couple of sittings, So for me, it's just I just need a bite. I just need like a little bit, and my body will tell me, yeah, that's enough, right? And so, when we were growing up, we were always told finish everything on your plate. You have to finish everything on your plate. There's starving children in Africa. That was what we were told in Canada, right? There's starving children everywhere. Eat your plate, but how is that healthy for the body when the body doesn't want all that, right? So it's about listening to and communicating for sure with your body.
Absolutely. I know. I was talking about this the other day, actually. I went out with some friends and I said, I know when I'm full. And they said, how do you know when you're full? And I said, well, I will belch. Honestly, I will literally, I know it's a horrible thing to say, but that's your body saying, enough. You've had enough, you know. So, and I had another friend that day who's a personal trainer, and she was like, "Oh yeah, so I eat this much and I eat that much, and I know how much to eat, and I know this one calories." And I was like, "I'm so sorry, but that doesn't mean anything to me anymore." I
Yeah,
said,
exactly.
if you said it to me 2 years ago, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know, but how many calories has that got?" And I would have actually said, "Yeah, how many grams protein should I be eating now?" I'm like, body, tell me what you want today. Yeah. And then if I know I've had way too much carbohydrates or way too much sugar or whatever it is I've had today, tomorrow's another day. Don't beat yourself up and don't feel like, okay, I might as well, eat crap all week now. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
your body, and it's your body that's gonna, have the consequences of your actions. So that's why I said meditate, do yoga, do Pilates, do Zumba, do whatever it is. Go and see an Ayurvedic consultant or a herbalist, but do something that is going to raise your vibration.
Mm. Absolutely. And for me, sometimes I'm having like a spoonful of something, right? A bite of something, and halfway up to my mouth, it's like, nope, my body's done, and I put it down, right? So it's about honoring your body, listening to your body, and choosing the foods or the processes or the activities or whatever that the body wants to experience. Because again, the body's having that experience. It's not necessarily the soul that's having the experience of eating the chocolate cake. It's the body that's having that experience, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, don't feel bad, because I think we really hold a lot of guilt. Like, oh my God, I ate this, or oh my God, I look like this, and that's where the body's going to give you more negative back, because it's negative conversations you're having with yourself about yourself. So it's the law of attraction, which we've talked about loads of times. Um, Almost ready to start the process. Can I just get the ball rolling by asking everyone to type in the chat, what food do you feel that you would like to eat less of, or that you always is your turn to food? So mine is bread. Okay. What's yours? Is it candy? Is it donuts? Is it like I need to have a glass of wine every night? Or, when I'm stressed, I got to have chocolate? Or what's yours? Can you please type in the chat so I get an idea what's going to help towards the process we're about to do? And I'm sure everyone has a craving now and then. I think Alara said yours is sweets, isn't it? Desserts. Is that right, Alara?
It's because they're always there. My mom makes it all the time, and every day with our tea, we have something sweet. So
Yes.
it's not like I have a craving for it. It's just always there.
It's always there. Yeah, it's a habit, right? It's a habit.
It's a
So,
habit. Yeah.
yeah,
I
pizza.
don't
Yeah,
have a lot of cravings, to be honest.
pizza's
Um,
definitely my son and my husband's go-to.
I
Chocolate.
love pizza. Uh,
Sweets. Oh, sweets needs it seems to be a common theme here. Potatoes, carbohydrates, noodles. Oh yes, I love that. Am I the only one that has bread then?
well,
So
potatoes and carbohydrates is the same thing as bread. Oh, there you go. Cindy talks about bread.
all these things about sweets. Yes, I'm probably going to have a dessert after I finish this call. Okay, so is it okay, Shefali, if we actually go into the process?
Yeah, sounds good.
So what I'm going to do, this process is made up of two parts. Okay, the first part, we're going to go into a beautiful golden air balloon with Archangel Michael, who's going to help us release those emotions that are weighing us down. Okay, or weighing you down. And then the second part of the process, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes, and then I'm going to ask you to do emotional freedom tapping, and we're going to release whatever it is that you have a craving for, or if you feel like I cannot live without coffee, I cannot live without pizza, or I cannot live without bread, yeah, or sweets, or whatever your food is. But in order to do this, you do need to write down. You can either write it on a piece of paper or you can type it in the chat. These questions that I'm going to put here. Okay. So I'll just talk you through. I'm using the example of bread. Okay. So for me, my truth is I cannot stop eating bread. That's my current belief in my head. And if I scale it from a 0 to 10, I would say it's 7 at the moment. Okay, well, actually 0 at the moment because I've cleared this, yeah, but I'm just giving you an example. So if it's a very strong yes or truth, it will be 10 for you. If it's not so strong, it might be a 2 or 3. Okay. And then the next thing you have to do, question number 2, that's you're scaling it. So from a 0 to 10. Question 3 is, what aspects of that food, right, would you choose because you like it? For me, I like bread because it's soft and crunchy. The toast is crunchy and doughy. Yeah, toast is crispy, yeasty, soft texture, and it smells good. Okay, so that is the aspects, how you break down bread. Now, for you guys, if it's chips, it might be I like chips because it's crunchy, or it's oily, or it's salty, or crispy. Okay. Remember, I talked about the crunch when I was stressed at work and I used to go home. So it might be you like the crunch. So wine, it might be it's fresh, crispy, and sensual and moreish. Okay. If it's candy and chocolate or desserts, it might be they're melty or creamy or warm or silky or tasty. So you need to know what the aspects are, because when we do this process, you'll be saying those aspects out. Okay, so do make sure that your microphone is on mute because you'll be speaking the emotional freedom tapping statements that I'm going to give you. So to be clear, you can either type it in the chat or you can write your answers down on a piece of paper, because I'm gonna do it over bread, but you're gonna replace the statement with whatever food that you want to eat less of or get rid of that craving, okay, or reduce the craving. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Great stuff. Okay, so let's start going into the process. I'm going to leave these questions up here. Okay. And I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for now, because the first process, we are actually going to close our eyes, okay? And then I'll tell you when to open your eyes a bit later, all right? Okay, so put your hands on your heart center and start off by taking a nice long deep breath in the nose for a count of 3. Hold, and then breathe out for 4. Breathe in for a count of 3. Hold, and breathe out. One more time, breathe in, hold, and breathe out. So let's ground ourselves. Let's visualize beautiful roots coming out of our feet, going deep, deep down to the core center of Gaia, where there is your own Earth star, a beautiful, beautiful star. And today, in your Earth star, I see a beautiful flower. Just make a mental note of what your flower is. And as each petal opens up, in each petal, Gaia is pouring in these beautiful energies of grounding, nurturing, connection, love, peace, and serenity. See these beautiful energies travel into your roots, go into your feet, into your knees, into your hips, and then into your heart center. And at the top of your crown, a beautiful golden cord goes up to the roof of your house, up to the sky, up to the universe, and beyond the multiverse, where there is a six-pointed soul star. And today, the great central sun is pouring in beautiful copper rays into your soul star. And Creator Source is pouring in unconditional love and unconditional light. See these beautiful energies come down to your crown, your third eye, your throat, and into your heart center, where the heart transports it out to the rest of your body and aura. It then goes down to the solar plexus, the sacral, and the root chakra, which is the perineum. And then it goes down to your knees, where sometimes there's lifetimes of trauma, down to your ankles, where there may be some guilt, and down to your toes, where there might be some resentment. And then all the way down with those beautiful roots into that earth star. You are now connected to your earth star and soul star. Take a deep breath and breathe out. And now let's just fill up our heart with those beautiful, beautiful golden copper rays from Helios and Vesta, the great central sun. And remember, whatever you give out to the world, that is what you will receive back. So just now, send out that beautiful golden light from your heart center out to the world. Take a deep breath and breathe out. So now I want you to imagine that you are walking in a beautiful field, a magnificent field, a field like you've never seen before. There are trees in this field, and the grass is of a lush green color. You approach this beautiful golden tree. The trunk is made of pure gold, and the leaves are made of a platinum gold. You go up to this magnificent tree, and you give the tree a hug. The roots of the tree are actually emanating this beautiful golden light going up to your feet, going right up to your crown. And the top of the tree, a platinum light is coming down your crown, going all the way down to your feet. So you now have a two-tone golden and platinum light whizzing through you. As you turn around, in a little bit of a distant way, you now notice this magical air balloon that's presented by Archangel Michael. He's standing inside this air balloon. You're absolutely excited about this air balloon because you know that it's going to help you and support you. So you start walking towards this air balloon, and Archangel Michael opens the gate for you, and you step inside. He then closes the gate. He asks you to take a seat on a little bench that's inside the air balloon. And he starts to take some of the sandbags outside the air balloon, one by one. And slowly the balloon is lifting, very slowly and gently. Now it's not quite reached very far. Archangel Michael has stopped taking out the sandbags. And he's now asking you to stand up and to remove some sandbags yourself. So he's asking you that each sandbag that is left has an emotion that you are carrying that is weighing you down. And he wants you to let this go now, so that the air balloon can move up and so that you can move forward in your life. So the first sandbag you take in your hand, have a look. What's written on this sandbag? What emotion is coming up? Is it guilt? Is it shame? Is it fear? Or is it rejection? Or is it abandonment? Whatever it is, take that sandbag and gently put it outside of the air balloon, and you see it land very, very quickly onto the ground. And then I want you to go to the next sandbag on the side and unclick that sandbag. What emotion is written on this sandbag? Just make a note of what the emotion is and be grateful that you can let this go now. And then just release it outside of the air balloon. And again, you can see it quickly crash into the ground. And then if there's more sandbags, one by one, just unclick them. Be grateful that you've recognized what they are and let that sandbag go. And now you will feel that the air balloon has raised higher and it's almost reached the clouds. And it's very, very gently moving in the blue sky, but the light clouds. So now I want you to open your eyes very slowly. Okay, so I hope you guys are okay. Now it might be an idea to have some water right now. Okay, and for those who've never done emotional freedom tapping, like I explained before, what happens is we have so many beliefs about many things. You can use emotional freedom tapping not just for food, but it could be many things. It could be financial situations, about relationships, any sort of beliefs that you feel that you have running in your system. And what the emotional freedom tapping does is we're tapping into the meridians on certain points that will release this with a statement. Okay, so as I mentioned before, the statement that I put here is, I cannot stop eating bread. Yours might be, I cannot stop eating candy. Or it might be, my go-to food when I'm stressed is chips. Okay, so whatever your statement is, when I say something about bread, I want you to change it to what your food is. But just set the intention and just remember to tap and have fun with this. It's not so serious, but honestly, it really works. Okay, so are you ready, everyone? Okay. Now we start off with a karate chop. Okay, that's how we trigger the emotional freedom tapping points. And so the karate chop is on your you start off with your dominant hand and you just tap. Okay, and so say this statement out loud and remember, make sure you're on silence. Okay, so even though I feel I cannot stop eating bread, I love and respect myself. Remember, you're saying the food that affects you. Okay, you can use bread if you want. Now you go to the crown. I feel that bread in my mouth now. And imagine it in your mouth right now, whatever that food is. And then between the eyebrows, I can taste the bread in my mouth now. And then the side of the eye, what I love most about bread, and then say whatever it is. And I would say, oh, it's doughy and it's warm and it's crunchy. So what do you love most about your food? Then underneath the I love bread. So you will say, I love wine. So you get the idea of this, right? So the chin, you cannot take my bread away from me. And then you go to the collarbone. I want to eat bread whenever I want. And the crown, bread makes me feel full. Between the eyebrows, bread makes me feel comforted. And the side of the eye, bread makes me feel loved. Okay. It might be that the food that you associate with makes you feel safe. Just tap in and think of what the emotion is. Underneath the eye, Bread makes me feel loved. Collarbone. Bread makes me feel happy. Crown. It's not fair I have to give up bread. Side of eye. It's so easy and quick to cook toast. Underneath the eye. Bread makes me feel so good when I eat it. And then between the eyebrows, I love that crunchy, crusty bread. And then underneath the eye, bread makes me feel loved. And now the chin. I'm bringing these bread feelings into my body. Now here's the powerful part. You go to the crown. Bread, or whatever food it is, reminds me of, what word are you getting? Or whose name are you getting? What does that food remind you of? For me, bread reminds me of my mum. Between the eyebrows. The person I associate bread with is, and you say that person's name. Mine is my mum. The side of the eye. I miss my mum, or you say the person's name. Underneath the eye. I love my mum. And the chin. Sending love to my mum. And the collarbone. Feeling all the love from bread and comfort from bread, knowing now that it was not from bread. So whatever you were feeling, it wasn't coming from the food. Go to the crown. I'm sending love to my mum. Underneath the eye, and I'm receiving love back from my mum. And the crown. I'm feeling love in my body now, and really try to feel it. Underneath the eye, I can give myself that love now. I know that bread cannot love me. Side of the eye, it's just food, and food cannot love me. Underneath the eye, I just wanted to feel taken care of. And chin, bread cannot take care of me. And collarbone, I can take care of me and I can love me. Crown, I get to take my power back over bread. Between the eyebrows, I can love me. Side of eye, I am free from bread. Chin, I choose to let it go. Collarbone, I am loved. Crown, I am free. In between the eyebrows, I love me. Okay, so take a deep breath. Breathe out. And now give yourself a rate from 0 to 10 of how you feel about that food, whether it was bread or whether it was crisps or chips. And see if that number's changed. Okay, then I want you to close your eyes and take a deep breath. And breathe out. Breathe in again. Breathe out. And find yourself standing with Archangel Michael again in that golden air balloon. And as you're floating in that beautiful sky, Archangel Michael says it's time to come down again. And he magically hands you a sandbag one by one. And the first sandbag he gives you to hang on the side says freedom. So I want you to take this sandbag from Archangel Michael, feel the vibration of freedom flowing through you, and then hang the sandbag on the side of the air balloon. And you can feel the air balloon started to lower. Archangel Michael gives you another sandbag, and this time the words written on here is unconditional love. So I want you to take that beautiful sandbag and feel the vibration of unconditional love fill you up, and then place the sandbag on the side of the air balloon. And now Archangel Michael hands you another sandbag, and this time he's handing you one that says, big handwriting, compassion. So when you take the sandbag, imagine the word compassion fill you up and place that on the side of the air balloon. And you almost reach the ground, and he wants to give you one more sandbag. And this time the sandbag says mission. Feel the vibration of this beautiful sandbag of mission flow through you, and then just hang it on the side of the air balloon. And you almost have touched the ground. So the air balloon has gently now touched the ground. I'd like you to thank Archangel Michael and give him a big hug and thank him for his support today and the love that he's given. And then gently walk outside of the air balloon into that beautiful, magnificent field. And as you slowly walk away, you notice that the air balloon has disappeared. And very, very gently, when you're ready, I'd like you to come back to the here and now.
Yeah, that was lovely, lovely, lovely.
Thank
That was
you.
great.
It would be
Yeah,
interesting to
thank
see
you.
when these numbers went down.
Mm. Yeah, mine went from a 7 to a 3.
Okay, not bad, not bad. And I think you have to do it again because I'm associating it with bread. Obviously, you might have been thinking of chips or desserts or whatever it was. So, so it'd be nice if, just listen to the playback and do the process again. But with those questions, it is really, really powerful. And if you do it a few
Yeah.
times, you're really tapping into the meridians and changing that belief. I eat bread every day and I don't feel anything. I don't feel guilty. And when I've had enough, my body will say, "No, we're not having bread today." So I really listen to my body. So
Awesome. So how was it for all of you? What numbers did you start with and what number did you go down to? Or just, how did you feel during the process? I liked it a lot. I thought it was, um, the process was great, and just the emotions that came up in the air balloon to be released, that was quite eye-opening as well. So that was great. 10 to 5, awesome. 6 to 5, awesome.
good.
Good.
Good that it's gone down. So you definitely need to do it again because I think when you do it in your own space as well, it makes a difference because you're just concentrating on your own statements rather than my statement, right?
Yeah. 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 But as long as you can, perceive a difference, right? So 9 to 4, that's awesome.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Nine's high. So for it to go halfway is brilliant. And I
Yeah.
think I did it twice on myself. So I went from like 10, because honestly, bread was my enemy. right? So I went from 10 to like 4, and then I did it again, and then it went from 4 to 0. So because they're
Mm,
really deep rooted beliefs, bread
yeah.
is the amount of times I've done keto and carbs in my life, low carbs, and it was like bread is the enemy, bread is the enemy, bread bloats you, bread is not good. And of course, completely rewired my brain.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, I love that. And it's so true, right? We don't even realize sometimes what beliefs we are taking on until we start to do these types of processes. Then we realize. Yeah, awesome. Um, I think Tanya has had her hand raised for a while. Tanya, did you have a question?
Yes, sorry, it's a bit dark here. Uh, my question is, when I was younger, if I was stressed, I didn't eat. I mean, I didn't want to eat, and even if I did, I had upset stomach, and I used to lose weight. Now, as I'm older, when I eat, and I'm saying to my son, I'm hungry, I'm still hungry, and he says, "You are not hungry, you are stressed." And thought to myself, am I really stressed? And then I thought to myself, what has changed? Then instead of not wanting to eat, I kind of eat my stress with something, like I have to choose on something. And yes, sugar and sweets is something that is very difficult to resist. So is it hormonal? What is changing? I mean,
Yeah, it's a really good question, Tanya. So, it, number one, our body changes all the time. Like I mentioned before, what worked for me, I mean, when I had my son in 2000, I lost 4 stone in 6 months. So I did
Mm,
Weight Watchers, and I went to the gym, and I looked amazing. I was just like size 10. But guess what? Those days, Weight Watchers, I'm not saying they're bad or anything, those days they never looked at the nutrition side of food. So I had actually lost muscle at the age of 28. So when I started going to the gym, I started getting creaks and things, and I had to stop going to the gym. I went to the doctors, and the doctors said, you're 28 years old, but you've got the body of an 80-year-old. And I was like, what? They go, you've got the onset of osteoporosis or whatever it's called.
okay. Mm,
Yeah.
mm,
And I was like, what? They were like, yeah, your body's really rubbish. And why? Because when I was dieting, I actually lost muscle because we weren't
mm,
looking at protein those days. We were just looking at what the fad was. The fad was count your points for Weight Watchers, right? I believe it's
yeah.
different now. But you see, that time it served me, that diet. But as things went on, I then did keto and keto. Yes, I lost 2 stone. But then now, if I try to do keto, it doesn't work. Then I did this really amazing diet in my 30s with a really top nutritionist in Harley Street. It was really amazing, honestly. In 2, 3 months, I was so healthy. But guess what? You have to just eat salad, a bit of protein, no fats, and you lost so much weight, and I was glowing, and I was feeling really good, but it wasn't sustainable. You need now.
Mm,
The thing is, you need healthy fats. You need a bit of olive oil. You need a bit of, omega 3. So you've got to listen to your body at the time. So not, back then you needed something. Today you need something. In 2, 3 months' time, you're going to need something. So I would say meditate on it and ask your body, what are you trying to tell me, and
mm.
what do I need? Yeah, really listen to your body.
Yeah, good idea to meditate on it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's it. That's right. And sugar is
Thank you,
addictive.
Nana.
Sugar is
Yeah,
addictive. I'm gonna lie.
yes,
So
it is.
sugar's a chemical. Okay, so sugar's actually not a real food. If you have
Mm-hmm.
sugar cane, and they're all natural sugar, palm sugar, coconut sugar. There are natural sugars that is real sugar, but the actual white sugar we eat is a chemical. I hate to say.
It
Yeah.
is, absolutely. And I was going to say, Tanya, take away the word meditation, just center yourself and talk to your body. Because I know you have an issue with meditation. So forget meditating. Just take a few deep breaths and just talk to your body.
You
That's
know,
all it
I
is.
I bought a cup with one word on it, says listen. And I
Yes.
thought that will be my cup.
Listen to
I'll
your
be
body.
taking
Absolutely.
tea with it, drinking tea. and just listen.
Yeah, perfect. And
Thank you, Lara.
thank you. We use cane sugar as well, right, at home,
Mhm.
which
I
we've
used
been yeah, we've been using it for a while. And my dad now says, "Oh no, I don't like the taste of that. I like white sugar." And I'm like, "No, that is not healthy. What are you talking about?" But he's so me and my mom, we use the cane sugar, and he gets his white sugar because, yeah,
but
I
but
mean,
then again, I have to practice what I preach, like I said, like if you want, sometimes you go somewhere and you can't always get cane sugar and you have a bit of white
yeah,
sugar and then you have this guilt. Oh my God, Roshni said it's a chemical. Remember, just bless your food.
yeah,
There's going to be times and places where you've gone on holiday, you've gone somewhere and you can't get, all healthy food or whatever it is. Don't feel guilty about it. Yeah. When you go on
nope,
holiday,
I
you don't
don't.
think about it. You just enjoy, right? You know.
Exactly. I don't. If it's like a one-off thing, I don't worry about it. But on a regular daily basis, that's what I focus on, not the one-off thing. Because when you go to a restaurant, you know, they're not using cane sugar. I don't go very often, but that one once in a blue moon. So who cares? It doesn't matter. Just like you said, bless the food and just know that you're enjoying the experience. Sometimes you need to just enjoy the experience, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Roshni, before we go any further, I just want to take a moment and talk about the packages, if that's
Okay.
okay,
Yep.
because we're at the
Beautiful.
top of the hour.
Yes.
Okay, you should be able to see my screen. So there's
Yes.
3 packages. Hopefully I've done everything right. So package A, there's 3 recordings, right? These are Zoom recordings. I'll let you explain. Go
Yep.
ahead.
So, the first one is you get a Zoom recording of a journey into your Akashic records, and you'll be able to do a clearing and go into your own records. It's about 34 minutes, that process. And it's worth $44. It's on sale on my website, but you get it for a really good price on Shefali's package. That's the
Okay.
first thing. And that's guided with Archangel Metatron. Okay. And the next one is the golden tree. There's a theme going on with me and gold, but I don't know what it is. But the golden tree meditation is similar to what we did earlier. However, in this one, it's a beautiful meditation that you go into your golden tree and you connect with your guides and ask whatever question you want to ask your guides. Okay. And the next one is the golden ball activation. And this is really beautiful. It's not the air balloon, but it's the golden ball activation where you let go of some emotions from your past, from your childhood, or even your adulthood that are no longer serving you. And you place this on a beautiful postcard and you just rip it up and give it to Archangel Michael to transmute. It's very powerful, that one. So those 3 are the processes.
So that's
And
package A for 37.77, and then package B includes everything in package A plus a personal session with Roshni. So what does that look like?
so a personal session could be inner child healing, it could be cord cutting, or it could be an Akashic Records reading. It's a 45-minute session, and whatever your soul needs is what you'll get from that session.
Absolutely. And package B is 88.88. And then package C is everything in package A plus 3 personal sessions with Roshni, all to be used within 6 months, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, yes. It says that right there. Yeah.
Mhm.
So so that's great if you have a lot of work to be done. A lot of us have a lot of work to be done, and we can't always do it in one session. So, you have a block of 3 sessions to work with Roshni to go deeper and really get to the root of certain issues, or maybe not just a really big issue, but it could be 3 different issues. It doesn't really matter, right? It's whatever's
Yeah.
coming up for you at that time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I give you tools that you can help yourself because I'm not nobody's healer. I'm just a facilitator that's sharing the tools that I've been taught, and I'm just giving you the tools so that you can do them on yourself as well.
Hmm. Absolutely. So that's package C is 188.88. There's some wonderful testimonials and feedback from people who have worked with Roshni in the past. And then let's see, just go back down. So there are payment plans available for packages B and C. And of course, if you're an Inner Circle member, please do use your gift code as well. Great. So great packages. I've worked with Roshni myself. And I remember we did cord cutting quite a few times, and it's definitely it definitely works. It's definitely helpful and transformational. So I do highly recommend working with Roshni. And at this price point, it's like, why wouldn't you really, right? And we all have stuff to be healed and cleared for sure, right? So what else are we doing today, Roshni? I think that was already so much. What else do we have on the plate?
Oh, well, so if I don't know if anybody wants any questions answered, I can answer a few
Okay.
questions, maybe one or two.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, if you have a question for Roshni, you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat. Yeah, Cindy says always great working with Roshni. Yes, I know Cindy has worked with Roshni quite a few times.
Thank you, Cindy.
Uh, I don't know if I mentioned Andrea said she had a 5 and now it's down to 0
Yeah,
and
that's
other
brilliant.
emotions came up. So
That's
so
amazing.
that's amazing.
That's really good, Andrea. That's really,
Yeah.
really good. And
And
like
so
I
keep working on it because when you do it again, some other emotions may come up to be released, right?
yeah, absolutely. And anyone
Good.
can do emotional freedom tapping. Anyone can do it with intention. Anyone can tap into it, right? There's so many videos. I think I learned from Nick Ortner
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube, and it's just incredible. You can do it around weight, you can do it around food, you can do it around finances, relationships, anything. It's very, very powerful. Because remember, that the body is an amazing thing, and we've gone through so much and so many things are tangled up inside, and that some of
Yeah.
them are so deep rooted. It takes a little time to release, which is why we don't always get the release straight away. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Roshni, I was thinking, you've mentioned a couple of times about blessing our water and blessing our food. Do you have a certain blessing that you use for that?
No, I literally just imagine I've got light coming out my hand, and I will just like, yeah, I'm blessing the water. 'Cause sometimes I've gone to people's houses and like I always have I always have bottled water or filtered water, and I've gone to someone's house and like they don't have it, and I'm like, and I'm so thirsty because when you do energy work, you need to drink. Okay, well, forget energy work, we need to drink. End of. And literally, I'll just quickly like bless the water, just bless the water. And you don't even need to put your hand over it. It's with intention. You can do it with your eyes. You can just
Yeah.
bless the water. Do it from your heart center. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It
Bless
doesn't have to be complicated. I think
yeah.
in this industry, we've complicated certain things, made certain things into processes and rituals when really it's just your intention that is required for sure. So, but it is a good um reminder to bless your food or bless your water. So sometimes I will just, put my hands because I always have a water bottle of some sort and just put my hands around it and, with my intention. Sometimes I'll use my hands. But when I'm out in public or whatever, I just, it's like I just make it so uh like I don't even have to do anything. I can just look at the food, for example, and just have the intention, right? Because your energy goes out from everywhere, not just your hands. It comes out of your eyes, it comes out of your mouth when you're speaking, etc. It's always radiating out of you. So remember, you are a multidimensional being, right? And so you're just not the physical body, and you're everything. So don't complicate it, for sure. It's all about intention. Awesome. So I don't think we have any questions from anybody.
That's good. I'm
Doesn't
good. I'm cool with
doesn't
that.
so any last words of wisdom then, Roshni, for us?
Yeah, I had something written down actually. Yeah, so there are statements that you can say, things like "food is my friend," okay, and make peace with all that you can do. So like I said, we beat ourselves up. I've got to go to the gym. Oh, I didn't go gym today. Oh, I didn't do this. I didn't do my 10,000 steps. Just make peace with yourself, because when you start beating yourself up, you're going into the guilt and shame. You're going into those 3D vibrations, right? So
Yeah.
we keep saying, "Oh, I used to say to myself, I tried this, I tried that, I've tried every single diet, and it doesn't work." What am I saying? I'm saying it doesn't work, and me, victim, victim, victim. Yeah. So no.
Mm.
Instead, like, forgive yourself, be grateful, and like, okay, I've got to do something else. I've got, universe, angels, help me, guide me, support me. If you don't ask your angels, they're not going to help you. Yeah, they're not going to guide you. And the bit about protection is, if you sometimes feel like you're putting on weight for protection, ask yourself, what are you trying to protect yourself from? Okay, it's a very powerful question. And the other question you might want to ask yourself, what will it do for me to feel safe in my body? Okay, so they're two powerful questions.
Awesome. I love that. I never had that belief about gaining weight because I needed to protect myself. I never had that, but I think it was just more of just all the stress, and I guess I needed some comfort, to handle all the stress, right? So for me, I think that's what it was. But now that I'm, I have no stress really anymore. It's like, come on, just. But it's okay. It's fine. Whenever
Yeah,
it does, and it
we are
will.
beautiful as we are, and we just
Yes,
have to love ourselves. That's what it
ab-
comes down to. Something that Jay said,
absolutely.
to love ourselves, absolutely. Because when you start loving yourself, you'll also start taking more care of yourself, and it will just, it will just drop off. And also, when
Yeah.
you start being the real you, it might be something that you're not doing. Maybe you've come here for another purpose and mission, and you're not doing it. It could be baking cakes for, selling cakes for people, or nutritious goods, or creative artware, or something that you want to make or design, something that makes people happy. It doesn't necessarily have to be healing work. Yeah, it could
Yeah,
be your
absolutely.
passion or your purpose or
Yeah.
your mission. So you just got to find it, right? Whatever
You just have
lights.
to ask yourself. You just have to ask, be silent and ask. Listen, like Tanya was talking about, she has that mug, the cup that says listen, to be silent. You can only listen when you're silent, right?
Oh, thank you,
Thank you.
Shireen. Thank you very much.
And so, of course, everyone, I will have the recordings out in a little while, but please do take advantage of the packages and work with Roshney. Again, I've worked with her many times. I know Cindy has, other people have as well, and it's always wonderful. So I do highly recommend working with Roshney, if you can. And the processes alone as well in package A are also really, really helpful. So there's a lot here for you that's available. So thank you again, everyone, for all your questions, comments, feedback. Thank you for playing with us and joining in with doing the EFT as well. So that was great. So always so much fun when we can get together and do these new processes and see the result right away, right? It's always so much fun. So other than that, I think we are good. So thank you again, Roshni, so much. This was
Thank
wonderful. It was great.
you. Thank you so much, Shefali. And thank you, everyone. Much love to you all.
So everyone, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. So until the next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings. Bye for now. And see, I'm sending love and blessings just with intention. Yes, I use my hands, but that's just, but also just with intention.
Thank you,
Bye, everyone.
Shefali.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Much love.